Hello and welcome all lovers of indie games. April is almost here and it's time that we start to say hello to those Q2 release games. April has some really big hitters coming out soon, so we're going to be splitting this video up into two. So it's not just like a really long 30-minute video and scares everyone. No, it'll be in part 1, which will be this video, and I'll cover games that are coming out prior to the 16th of April. So it's time to sit back, relax, and let's enjoy these trailers together. Crabs are taking over the world. First we had a beach full of raving crabs, and now we have crabs with guns? That's right, in Crab Champions, a new third-person shooter with roguelike elements, it's down to you to show those other crabs who's the strongest. Play solo or with up to 3 other friends to take to the beaches and show them non-crabs who's the boss. This looter shooter is packed with intense 20 to 40 minute runs with the option to loop endlessly to survive as long as you can. I'm team no microtransactions, and so is Crab Champions. They're with me on this, as everything can be unlocked just by playing. You will never have to buy anything else. Crab Champions will be snapping at us on the 1st of April. It's roguelike o'clock as we take a look at Spiritfall, a fast-paced action roguelike with combat inspired by platform fighters. You'll need to bounce from platform to platform whilst unleashing deadly combos to take down any foe. Death is only a temporary setback. Reawaken stronger than before at the Sanctum and continue your adventure. Use the resources you gathered to upgrade your skills, unlock new charms, and equip mighty weapons. Encounter NPCs whilst journeying that might be more than happy to lend you a hand. They'll be waiting for you back at the Sanctum to unlock new skills and give you more to help you further next time. Spiritfall will be falling with grace on the 3rd of April.
This wasteland is a domain of devious creation.
From the makers of Dead by Daylight comes a game nothing like Dead by Daylight. And it's called Meet Your Maker, a post-apocalyptic first-person building and raiding game where every level is designed by players. The aim of the game is to go into these levels and build them up from the ground, either solo or with friends, to make the hardest and most elaborate maps that you can think of. Add tricks and traps to stop raiders in their tracks. You can also become the raider as you take to other people's bases to get to the end. You can equip multiple different perks to help you get all the way through the level. My only worry with Meet the Maker is that if no one else plays, no new maps will be added, so fingers crossed it keeps getting new maps like Mario Maker does. Meet Your Maker will be fully built on the 4th of April.
Deeper into the abyss until escape is nigh impossible. Next come the trappers. They are masters of suspense, crafting traps and secret snares. All is quiet until the chaos erupts. An invisible arsenal lurching to life, eviscerating any who covet their oozing horde. Visionaries are a different breed still. Yes, they are artists of the damned, creating beauty only to pervert it. They spawn their brutes and grafted masses. The creatures scatter and surge, fly and fire. A dark legion living only to feed.
I'm here in White Sands, Petria's most luxurious community, where in the upcoming days...
A prequel to one of the best games that I played last year is Road 96 Mile Zero, as we play as Zoe and Kaito, as we get to see how everything started for Zoe, a character from the first game who is trying to escape across the border. Understand the previous events of Road 96 and what made Zoe flee from her home. Encounter loved or maybe not loved characters from Road 96 and meet new people who might lead the change of Petria. They've added new gameplay mechanics to the prequel, as we'll now get to play musical segments that puts us in the heart of the emotions of both characters. I loved the first game. Its humour and emotional messages just make you want to know everyone's story, so the fact that we get to see Zoe's from the start is a winner for me. I hope they do this with the other characters from the main game, because that would just be amazing. Road 96, Mile Zero, will be skating out on the 4th of April. It's time to look outside as the world as we know it has changed, and now all we have is the Wall. Wall World is a roguelike mining tower defense game where we explore the mysterious War World on our giant robot spider, mine for valuable resources, upgrade the equipment to fight off the hordes of monsters, and discover exotic biomes in between the attacks. You'll need to upgrade your trusty robo spider to ensure your survival, as you get to build turrets, repair stations, and automatic harvesters to all help with us getting closer to the truth. Warworld will be deploying on the 5th of April. It's time to turn the tables for a change and stop the so-called good people attacking the undead in Necrocity, a mix of city building, strategy and tower defense. You'll need to defend your towns and outposts of undead from the goody-goody heroes as you take on the role of the young prince of the undead. Build your outposts on varied grid-based maps, summon adorable skeleton workers to gather and produce resources, and power your buildings with necro energy. I love the fact that they're doing it from what is classed as normally the bad guy's side. I think that's fantastic. We'll save the undead in Necrocity on the 5th of April.
Over the land of reverie, terror grips its inhabitants' minds.
It's time for you to become a legend and save the world in Ravenswatch, a top-down roguelike action game that combines intense real-time combat with deep gameplay and high replay value that you can play solo or with up to 3 other friends in a co-op mode. The world of Ravenswatch is built around old folk stories and tales like the 3 Little Pigs, which I think is just crazy. Imagine having to try and stop the wolf from blowing down the 3 Little Pigs' houses. Each run will be different than the last, as it is all randomly generated, with different loot and activities that will be added in the game, which is where the replayability comes into the game. I just think you'll never want to stop. Ravenswatch will be appearing on the 6th of April.
You thought you could help, Reverie. So much hope and so much disappointment. Even a blown-out candle can still burn a scroll.
I'm sure most of us have played games about a post-apocalyptic event and that they can be eye-opening, but it's time we look at the thing that pretty much all of them forget: Oxygen, which is a survival city builder. Build your city around the oxygen center and ensure your people's survival in this post-apocalyptic future, threatened by crack explosions, deadly winds, and droughts. You'll need to explore the new world that has been taken over by toxic gas, find new survivors who will need a home, or maybe loot abandoned buildings to see what goodies were left behind for us. It reminds me a lot of Survivor in the Aftermath from what I've seen, and that was an amazing game, so fingers crossed they're of the same kind of category. Oxygen will be breathing on the 7th of April. It's time for us to start a world from scratch in Miniland Adventure, a sandbox survival game where you start with nothing and have to build everything. Each day you'll receive multiple different biome tiles that you'll need to place wherever you want to build your map. From there you can go exploring, build houses for friendly goblins, looting, and so much more in this adorable game. Miniland Adventure will be taking us on a journey from the 10th of April.
There's nothing in this world that cannot be explained with logic and reason.
Sherlock and Cthulhu never have really been said in the same sentence before, but now it's all time to change. In Sherlock Holmes The Awakened, a third-person detective game where you find yourself at the heart of the terrifying Cthulhu as you investigate a series of mysterious disappearances in Europe and the US. This is a reimagined game of the same game, with the same name, released in 2008, but with more side quests, a fuller story, modern graphics, and some cool new features that will put the ever-faithful Sherlock Holmes in a situation he has never been in before. Sherlock Holmes The Awakened will be waking up on the 11th of April.
Maybe your god is unstoppable, but you are merely a man. And I know how to stop you.
The abyss calls for me, Mr. Holmes, as it does for you. The final problem approaches, and you too shall fall.
It's time to take up those beast hunting quests and purge them all from the world in Hunt the Night, a retro-style action-adventure game that combines a fast-skilled gameplay with dark fantasy lore. You play as Vesper, a member of the Stalkers, who have been tasked with ensuring that the night doesn't take over the world, and hunting the beasts that have been spawning chaos across the lands. The game is all about fast combat, as you need to switch from sword to gun, so no matter where the enemy goes, you can hit them. Learn a boss's moveset, and learn to time the dodges perfectly to prevail on top. This is giving me a really cool retro looking Bloodborne. Who wouldn't want that? Will you be ready to hunt the night on the 13th of April? It's time to talk about a VR game now, and it seems like more and more awesome VR games are coming out at the moment. This one is called Breachers, a tactical 5v5 shooter where you'll either need to breach and attack or set up and defend to make sure no one breaches us. The game is very similar to Rainbow Six Siege in its game style, but the fact that it's VR takes it to a whole other level. You'll need to master all manner of weapons if you're to help your team come out on top. Breachers will be bursting onto the scene on the 13th of April. And just to end it all off, a big thank you to anyone who's reached all the way to the end. It really does mean a lot to me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye bye!